Good evening. It's 7:02. We're gonna call our meeting to order. And our first order of business is our flag salute. Our flag salute will be led tonight by two community organizations, the Altadena Community Gardens and Christmas Tree Lane. Both organizations play vital roles in our community. They honor and appreciate the diversity and unique qualities and cultural ideas of our community. The Altadena Community Gardens provide a place for residents to work outdoors, promoting healthy minds, spirits, bodies, while growing plants and edible and non-edible plants. Christmas Tree Lane hosts a tree lighting spectacle known as the oldest large-scale outdoor Christmas display in the world. It's listed in the National Registry of Historical Places and designated as the California State Landmark number 990. For over 100 years, they've done this for our community. Included in these groups are two recipients of the President's Lifetime Achievement Award for volunteerism. The Community Gardens President, Severa Grant, and Mary Landell of the Christmas Tree Lane Association. So they're going to lead us in our flag salute. Whenever you're ready.
Ready? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do for us. Thank you for tonight. Thank you, Mary and Severa, for helping making our communities what it is. And thank you for 100 years of light. 102 years, I think it is actually.
102.
Yes.
102, yeah.
Yes, thank you. We look forward to December.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we move along. We have Councilmember Wong doing our roll call.
Right. Good evening, council members. Victoria Knapp.
Present.
Thank you. Amy Lyford.
Here.
Thank you. Billy Malone. Billy here?
Yes.
Yeah,
present. I was
Sorry. Nick Arnzen.
Present.
Thank you. Dorothy Wong is here. Hannah Petrie.
Present.
Dr. Thomas, excused. Chris O'Malley. Is that here?
Yes.
Here, Chris.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris. Veronica Jones.
Here.
Thank you, Daryl Aranda.
Good evening.
Thank you, Daryl. Madeline Barber.
Malin is excused. That's
thank you.
That's my lapse of memory. Yeah, she's excused.
Thank you so much. Alan Peck. Is that here?
Haven't heard from him.
I didn't see Alan.
Okay, thank you. Reginald Wilkins.
Reggie is here. He was here.
Yeah.
There you are. Hi, Reggie.
Hello.
Thank you. Doug Cauliflower.
Here.
Thank you. Sylvia Vega.
Sylvia will be here. She's running a little late.
Thank you. Diane Markison.
Here.
Thank you. So I believe we have 3 absent and then 1 running late. So we have a quorum.
We have a quorum. So we move on with our meeting. We're going to have Councilmember Knapp approve our May 17th, 2022 agenda.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, fellow council members and Altadena community members watching. The Altadena Town Council Executive Committee met on Tuesday, May 10th to set the agenda for tonight's meeting. And the agenda was circulated to you on Saturday morning, May 14th. I have received the following change so far. Under community reports, item 5.4, we'll be adding a report from the Altadena Historical Society, and that will be presented by Daria Topusias, and that's spelled Topousias. That's the change that I received. Are there any other changes? Councilmember Arnzen?
Vice Chair Knapp, I'd like to add a census tract report for 4602.
Great. So under item 8.2, census tract report for 4602.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And are there any other or additional changes? I cannot see everyone, so if you have a change, please unmute yourself. I do not see.
Wait,
Go ahead.
Veronica, did you have something to add?
No, I don't have anything. I think she got it all. She got.
Okay, not anything from Doug?
Oh, yes. Okay, I get one more time. That was 2. I get one more. Okay. Doug is going to do a report on our bylaws. Thank you, Diane.
You can put it under land use, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah,
As
6.5.
a committee report, yeah.
Okay, so we had that as a committee report. We removed it as a committee report and now we're adding it back.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do it as 6.4.1 under land use.
No,
No,
6.5.
6.5. 6.5 bylaws committee,
right,
and that'll be Doug as well.
correct.
Okay. Are there any other changes? Great. So, considering those changes, I motion that we accept the agenda as amended. Can I get a second?
So moved.
That was Daryl.
Mhm. The motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? So the agenda is accepted with those changes. Thank you, Councilmember Knapp. Okay, we move on to officers' report, and the first officers' report is my report 2.1. And I want to say good evening and welcome. I want to say Altadena residents are diverse and represent so many communities of color. I am personally hurt and outraged by the continued hate and senseless killings in the name of white supremacy. My report tonight is one of reflection and a call to action for all of Altadena. A call to speak up and do what we can to stop this hate from taking hold here in our community. How can we as individuals help to end or reduce these tragic events in our society? First, we must treat each other with kindness, compassion, and respect. We must be active participants in our community and get to know our neighbors. We can't stop people from spreading their hate, but we can build our community ties to be stronger and lean on each other in times of crisis. A small step is just getting out, getting to know your diverse neighbors and their cultures. The town council, as members of this community, under my leadership, will continue to host and participate in community events like the recent Mendocino Lane event held 2 weekends ago, and the upcoming Pancake Breakfast event, the Pride March, and Juneteenth celebrations that'll be happening soon. We must show a strong sense of community values and not accept subtle racism or microaggressions or just outright racism. We must end the hate and division amongst us. We need to participate in the upcoming elections and vote in representation on the local, state, and federal level who reflects our values here in our community. Working together with our community organizations, schools, and neighborhoods, we can help to reduce the livelihood of events like the tragic events in Buffalo, New York, and the recent one in Orange County. We will be able to spot the sick disease and end it before it strikes. Racism is not acceptable in any form, is not acceptable or tolerated at all in Altadena. That must be our motto. That must be who we are. As chair of the Altadena Town Council, safety, physical, mental, and spiritual health of every member of the community is at the top of my mind. I'd like to close my report today with a brief moment of reflection. What can you do today, tomorrow, and in the future to stop the hate? So just take a moment and reflect on that, and thank you for listening. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, we are going to move on and to our vice chair's report, Councilmember Nat, who has given up her time to move the meeting on. Go ahead.
Chair Jones, I just wanted to say one quick thing. It'll be less than 10 seconds.
Sure.
I just wanted to remind everyone that May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, which was declared on May 1st, 2009 by President Barack Obama. We recognize the contributions and influence of Asian Americans and Pacific Islander Americans to the rich history, culture, and achievements of the United States and here in our own backyard in Altadena.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Nat. Okay, we're going to move on to our recording secretary, Nick Arnzen.
Thank you, Chair. I sent out the minutes for our April 19th meeting over this past week. I received no corrections. Are there any to be noted tonight? Seeing none, I move that we accept the minutes as sent.
Is there a second?
I second.
Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions?
One, because I was not at the meeting. This is Reggie.
Okay, so Reggie, Councilmember Wilkins abstains. Okay, so we accept the minutes. The minutes are accepted as they were presented, and they will be put in the record and on the website. Okay, we're going to move on to our treasurer's report. Councilmember O'Malley.
Thank you, Chair Jones. For the statement beginning on March 30th, 2022 and ending on April 27th, 2022, we began with $1,871.18. There was a $13.99 deduction for GoDaddy.com, and we ended out the period with $1,857.19.
Thank you for that report. Thank you. We're going to move on to our corresponding secretary, Councilmember Wong.
Thank you, Chair Jones, and thank you, Co-Chair Victoria Knapp, for recognizing Happy Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So I am a proud, hardworking Chinese woman. So thank you for recognizing that. And just a quick highlight, May is also Bike Month. So later this month we're actually going to organize a fun bike ride with the Altadena Bicycle Club on 5/21, which is also the Rotary Club Pancake Breakfast. So get some pancake breakfast, fundraise for great organizations, including the Altadena Town Council, and go on a bike ride. And also on 5/22 is the Altadena Heritage Golden Poppy Awards. And on 5/29 will be the Golden Poppy Bicycle Ride. Also, May 19th and 20th is Bike to Work Day. So look out and respect all of the people in our community that are moving around by bicycle. So thank you for that. And the farmers market for the remaining Wednesdays, I think there's 2 left. If you ride your bicycle to the farmers market on Wednesdays at Loma Alta Park, you not only do you get VIP parking in the farmers market, but you also get some market dollars for riding your bike. We also have a bike skills safety course at the market. I'm not sure if anyone else will bring this up, but on 5/12 is the Altadena Elliott Art Walk from 5:30. The library will be talking about all their great things as well as the chamber. So lots of fun things to do in our community in the month of May. And we'll talk about June, I'm sure, during this meeting. So thank you, Chair.
You're welcome, Councilmember Wong. And I just want to remind everybody, if you haven't got your Pancake Breakfast tickets, please get them. They're going fast. So you can see any council member to get your tickets. Okay, we are going to move on to our public safety reports. And we are going to start with our California Highway Patrol, Officer Keller and Officer Bay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Officer Bay. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I just wanted to report for the month of April, our traffic collisions. Altadena had 23 traffic collisions in the month of April. 10 of them resulted in injuries where people were transported. 2 of them were DUI investigated, so DUI related. And 3 out of those 23 were hit and run traffic collisions. I have to report that there are no bike traffic collisions that I observed in our data, so that's good to hear. A few things to keep the meeting going. We have our Seatbelt Enforcement Day coming up at the end of the month, so we're going to be out enforcing seatbelt laws in the community as well as on the freeways. And also we're going to be having a Commercial Enforcement Day, where that means all the officers in the corresponding areas on the I-210 freeway from even Altadena all the way to the Inland Empire. We're going to be enforcing commercial truck drivers that are out of lane, going too fast, or just out of service. Also, just want to reiterate, I was part of our Teen Impact Drivers meeting. We had one actually in Glendale, California, and it turned out we had a really good turnout, I believe, of 29 parents and students, or new drivers, I should say. So that's what's been going on. So if anyone wants to be a part of that, please contact me. We can hold either virtual meetings as well as in-person meetings now, whatever everyone's comfortable with. With that being said, that's all I have to report. Are there any questions for CHP?
Councilmember Wong, I see your hand.
Hi, yes. So thank you for reporting on the collisions. Do you know if any pedestrians were involved?
Councilmember Wong, I do not have it noted, but I can do a more in-depth scrub of my data. I pulled it over the weekend, but I can get back to you offline and see if there were any, but none that were noted in the traffic report.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any more questions? I don't see any more. Okay, if there are no more questions, was that something?
I just said great. And if anyone has any traffic complaints that you're receiving from any constituents, please direct them my way. I'm more than willing to go out and respond. And just want to actually report real quick that we have 3 radar trailers. 2 of them are operational. One's kind of being worked on, but I should have that done by the end of the month. So if there are any targeted areas for radar enforcement, please don't hesitate to let me know.
Okay, thank you for that. And I do want to report that I did hear from Captain Moulton regarding the recent, well, I guess it happened 2 years ago, but we found out recently about the incident at the CHP. And he did say that he would keep us up to date with information. So he did call just recently. So that was good. So thank him for that. I did, but you can do it again.
Of course, I will. I'll pass that on. I of course am not privy to everything going on, but if I can always get an update for anyone that's interested. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Stay safe.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to our Altadena Sheriff Station, Captain Jabari Williams.
Hello, how's everybody doing? Can you hear me? Just making sure. Thanks for having me here. It's always great to be here. So I'll just talk real briefly first about some stats, crime stats in Altadena. So our our aggravated assaults are down 18%. So those are our violent crimes. And then our property crimes in total are actually down 15%. So that's a good thing. However, we are seeing a big increase, a big spike in residential burglaries. And this has usually happened during the day. Now, most of our residential burglaries historically have always occurred during the day. Of course, that's when people are out at work and people pick the opportune time to go ahead and break into somebody's house. But during the pandemic, that went down dramatically because people were working it from home. I think things are easing up now and people are starting to go back to work. And we believe that's why this month we saw a big increase in daytime residential burglaries. So I just want to talk about an incident that happened during the day. Some people broke inside a house, and they were deterred away from the house because of the surveillance and the alarm system. So I just want to mention that because it did work in this incident. It usually works in most residential burglary incidents. So if people don't have a good security system, camera system, alarm system, whatever you want to call it, it'd be a good idea to consider having one installed. And not just anyone, one that is actually effective. These people were able to see on their phone the people breaking into their home, and they called us right away. As we were responding, the alarm went off and scared them away. And at this point, we don't believe anything was taken from the home. So it did work. Vehicle thefts are up a little bit. Of course, the people are just maybe leave things in their vehicles. It's mainly happened on the hiking trails. So just remind people to keep those valuables out of sight. If you don't have to have them, don't bring them with you, that type of thing. That's all for our crime stuff. I do want to mention our detectives had some pretty good warrants this month or last month. Number one, they went to an address and they were dealing with identity theft, looking for an identity theft suspect, and ended up coming across a whole bunch of fentanyl. So they go there looking for this identity theft person, end up coming up with dangerous drugs. And of course, just a little bit of fentanyl is enough to kill someone. So we were happy to get that off the streets. The other one was they did a warrant on an assault with a deadly weapon suspect. It did take a while for them to get to this suspect, but they had to be creative, but they actually did. And as a result, they got a lot of guns, recovered a lot of guns, like 18 of them. So we were happy to get a lot of those guns out of a potentially dangerous person's hands. Both those cases are still pending, but I just wanted to recognize our detectives for doing a great job on those two warrants. Just real fast, a couple of past events that we had this last month. The first one is the prescription take back. It was a great success. They end up getting a lot of prescription drugs, more than I expected. So that being the case, the DEA sponsors it twice a year. We're definitely going to get involved with it the next time it does happen, because it was clear that it was needed in this community. So I'm glad that worked out. We're going to try to get Altadena Station registered as a place where people can drop off prescription drugs anytime. It takes a little bit of funding for that, so we're going to try to work on that. And if we do, we can have it registered with the DEA as a spot where someone can come and drop off prescription drugs at any time. The other past event, of course, Elliott Arts Magnet School had a science fest, and we were able to participate in that. We took some of our rescue equipment and showed the science side of the Sheriff's Department. And those are the type of events I want to continue at our schools. So hopefully, if things work out, we'll get a dedicated person to be able to do those things at different schools. We want to go out to as many schools as possible within the Altadena community. A couple of events coming up. Of course, we mentioned Pancake Breakfast. I won't talk too much about that, but please come out and get some Pancake Breakfast. And we have a Memorial Torch Run coming up on Sunday. If you guys don't know, Memorial Torch Run, different stations, it's like a different race where people just take their time, ride their bikes, they run and pass off a torch from station to station. This year I had no clue, but this year it's ending at Altadena. So we are going to take the torch from Crescenta Valley Station, run, ride our bikes, walk, however we can make it back to Altadena Station. And of course, we'll have a nice little taco dinner, mini party, and all are welcome to attend. If you want to participate and run, you certainly can. Just meet up at the station at 1 o'clock on Sunday, this Sunday coming up. You can run or ride your bike. I'm certainly going to ride my bike. Hopefully, we're trying to plan this for June 8th, a coffee with the captain or coffee with the cop. But this time we're going to call it Conversation with the Station. And it's just come out and we'll just talk, express your concerns. That day is actually after the election, so it'll probably be a pretty good conversation. Be some things to talk about. We're doing it on a Wednesday, just a little bit different. It's going to be from 4 to 6 instead of, it's normally on a weekend, but this time we're doing it on a middle of the week in the evening from 4 to 6, just to try up something different. If it doesn't work out, we'll have them back on the weekends. And then on June 10th, we're trying to do another catalytic converter etching event. This time it will be on a Friday, June 10th. We're going to have it hopefully at the station where people can come and just get their catalytic converters etched to help deter people from stealing catalytic converters. I believe that's all I have to report. I do want to mention there was a press conference for Salvador Esparza. That's the young man that was killed July 5th of 2016. The Board of Supervisors increased the reward to $50,000, and we wanted to get that information out to as many people as possible so that we can bring those responsible for his death to justice. I attended that press conference and I was able to meet with the family of young Salvador and express that all of Altadena have you guys in our thoughts, and we won't stop until we find out who did this to young Salvador. So please get that information out. The reward has been increased to $50,000, and hopefully that helps. There was one more thing I had to mention, but I can't think of what it is right now. So I'll end it on that note. If there are any questions, please let me know.
Diane?
Yeah, I had two. One is there anything the Altadena Town Council can do to help encourage wherever the funding would come from for the drug take back, having you be it was not what you needed money for to have you be a take back station?
Yeah, if we can get that information out to first our department, our division, I'm going to ask them for the funding so we can get the proper vessel for them to drop that in. That's where I'm gonna first start, and if that doesn't work, we'll try to figure out something.
Okay, well, if you need backup,
or you need a letter, something.
Yeah, well, we can be your backup. The other thing real quickly is I've noticed that lately in my neighborhood anyway, there have been more people that have come around trying to sell things kind of thing. And I often wonder if they're really trying to see if I'm home, for the home burglaries that you talked about. Is there anything that people should be doing with those folks that are walking around trying to, sell you TVs or?
Yeah, of course. That's a personal preference, but if you don't feel comfortable at all, don't, let them see what's in your house. Like open up. A lot of people are very inviting. They'll open up the door and and people are actually, you think they're talking to you, but they're looking to see what's beyond you. So one thing is to talk through the screen until you feel comfortable or you believe that, it's a legit business that you want to deal with. Another thing is, sorry, I'm not interested. Leave your card. And if I'm interested, I'll give you a call. Now, if they're not willing to do that, I wouldn't deal with them at all anyway. So
okay,
if you can't reach out to them on your own terms, why do business with them?
Yeah, thank you. That's good advice. Thanks.
People are getting very bold now. Of course, they're coming from different areas and looking for target homes. And I just wanted to get that message out because it's happening countywide, especially in areas that appear to be quiet, like Altadena.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you, Captain Williams. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, I know what I was going to mention. I'm going to try to get those flyers out to you. I know it's kind of late, but I'm going to get those out so it can be posted on your website. I knew it was one thing I had to mention. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so we're going to move right along to 3.3 LA County Fire. Marie Grecken.
Yes, I am here. Good evening. The stats for Altadena for April, we had a total of 302 calls for service. 236 of those were medical calls, and we transported 290 patients. We had one, excuse me, we had one tree fire on El Molino, no damages. And then we had 3 instances of, I think it was 1 power line down and 2 were arcing wires. We had 10 traffic collisions that we responded to. I am showing Dorothy, 2 of them were versus pedestrian. One of those versus pedestrian was a pedestrian in a crosswalk, and the other one was somebody on a moped. So one was a pedestrian, one was a moped rider. That's it for the stats. Then the only other thing, our safety tip of the month, our firefighters are out there now doing their annual brush inspections. So they will be coming by in the very high fire hazard severity zone. They will be doing their annual brush inspections. They will be leaving a door hanger. So if you weren't home when they came to inspect, they will leave a door hanger with the date and the address on it. That is something new. In the past, they have just kind of come and gone, and if you were in compliance, that they would just, nothing would happen. The only time you would really know that they were there was if your property was not in compliance, and they would leave you the infraction. The reason for the change is that AB 38, when that was passed, that is the assembly bill where if you sell a property now in the very high fire hazard severity zone, it has to have an inspection, a defensible space inspection during the escrow portion. That inspection has to be done within it has to have been done within 6 months of the date of sale. So if you got your annual brush inspection, and you got it now on, say, May 15th, let's see, June, July, August, September, October, no, it's good until November 15th. So if you were to sell your house in September, that inspection would suffice for AB 38. So if 6 months has gone by, then the realtor or whoever you're working with can request that an inspection be done. And then we'll come out and do that inspection for escrow purposes. So that's the reason why they're leaving door hangers on everybody's property now, in the event that, for some reason they're going to sell their home, they will have that inspection, and that will be good for 6 months for those purposes. So they're out there doing the annual brush inspections. We are pushing our Ready, Set, Go program again at this time of year. We will, by the end of the week, have a fresh supply of Ready, Set, Go booklets. And we also now have a magnetic, what we're calling a crisis communications card. It's just a reference card magnet that has various websites, Twitter handles, Facebook, Instagram, all of that, the county channel 94 and OEM's emergency information page on their website. So in the event that there is a big emergency, it's basically a resource for you of where you might be able to find information to track what's going on with that emergency. So we will have some of those out at the fire station. They're also on our website at fire.lacounty.gov. And if you want to go straight to that section, you can just after fire.lacounty.gov, you can just do /RSG for Ready, Set, Go, and that'll take you directly to the Ready, Set, Go section. That is all that I have, unless there's any questions.
I don't see any. If you have a question, speak up. There's 2 screens. No, I don't see any, Maria. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to move on to special presentations. And I just want to apologize. I should have said in the very beginning, you know, our Dr. Thomas is not here. And she's not here because she's sick. And she's recuperating in the hospital. So I should have said that in the beginning, and it was on my mind, but I was just so wrapped up in getting started and getting going. I really felt bad. So I think that I just want to say it now, that please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Okay, so we'll move on to special presentations. And the first one is our Community Climate Action Plan update. And we have Alejandra Baldwin. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Cameron Robertson.
Hello, I'm Alejandra Baldwin. I'm from the Planning Department for LA County, and I also have with me today Cameron Robertson. And I was planning to do a longer presentation, but I see that a shorter one would actually be better for you guys. So I'm just going to skip through my slides fairly quickly. So let me just go ahead and share my screen with you guys. We can get started. Do you guys see my screen? Yes, okay, great. So, like I said, we are from the Planning Department for LA County. And we're here because we recently released a draft of our climate action plan, which we are calling the 2045 climate action plan, the 2045 CAP. And so we are trying to get the word out, trying to introduce this plan to everybody. This is the second public draft that we have. If some of you might remember that the first draft was released in 2020. And so we took back a lot of comments that were received from the public and also county departments, and have also been working on additional environmental review. And we have now created the 2045 Climate Action Plan. So this draft 2045 CAP is an update, like I said, to the 2020 Community Climate Action Plan. That was adopted in 2015 as part of the air quality element of the 2035 general plan. The draft 2045 CAP identifies a path towards the county's aspirational goal of carbon neutrality by 2045. This CAP is in line with the Paris Agreement, the state of California's GHG emission reduction efforts, and also the county's motion of We Are Still In, which supports the Paris Agreement. The draft 2045 CAP is the second publicly released draft, like I mentioned. And so we have a couple slides that summarize some of the comments that we received during the first round. We received various comments, comments regarding utility scale of renewable energy in rural communities, the affordability of electric panels, future reach codes that would be necessary to decarbonize our buildings, the necessary EV charging options that we need to increase to be able to have electric vehicles on the road and support the use of them, the needing of jobs and housing balance, mindful mobility, active transportation, incentives for active transportation. Some other comments included, addressing GHG emissions from the use of water, such as desalination plants and stormwater capture, green nature-based solutions for infrastructure, And we received comments regarding our waste stream, and so decentralizing organic waste composting, the funding resources that would be necessary to implement all the actions that are in the climate action plan, and also the types of partnerships that we may need to be able to implement these actions throughout the county. And so with that, where we're at now is we just released the draft cap. We are working on wrapping up the environmental review, which it will be an environmental impact report. And so we plan to release this draft EIR towards the end of the month. And so right now we are collecting comments on the draft cap, and soon we'll be collecting comments on the EIR. We will stop collecting comments on both of the documents come July 8th. To give us time to address those comments, incorporate them into the cap, and then be able to produce a final document, which we would then take to the Regional Planning Commission, and then if they support it, to the Board of Supervisors. And so the purpose of this presentation, not so much the meeting today, but the purpose of this presentation is to really introduce you to the Climate Action Plan. This presentation was used for a recent workshop that we had. I'm in the process of posting the video of that workshop on our project website. And so you'll have the opportunity to go back to our project website, check out the longer video that goes through the content a little slower. And also you could download the document, and we really encourage you to look through it. We are, gathering comments. We want to know your thoughts on the Climate Action Plan. We want to know if the strategies and the actions that we have within this plan would be ones that would support your community in the reduction of GHG emissions. So this is just a short little summary of what you'll find in the Climate Action Plan. You're going to find the GHG emission inventory. We have inventory from 2015 that was used for the first draft in 2020, and that is the baseline for our emissions. And then we also updated the cap with the 2018 emissions. We have forecasted our emissions to 2030, 2035, and 2045. Those forecasting years correspond with the targets and the goal that we have in our plan. We have a goal for 2030, 2035. We have a target for 2030 and 2035. And we have an aspirational goal of carbon neutrality for 2045. So in this plan, we have 10 strategies, 10 overarching strategies that address GHG reductions within the various different emission sectors. And we have 25 measures that are implemented by over 90 actions. And the actions are made up of regulations, policies, and different types of tools that the county can use to really move us forward to carbon neutrality. The plan also includes implementation and a monitoring plan. And so we have the performance metrics, the timeline of implementation for these actions, and also information on funding of how we would be able to fund some of these actions moving forward. This slide here is an illustration of our GHG emissions for the unincorporated LA County. This does not include emissions from cities, right? We have 88 cities in the county. These are just the unincorporated pockets. And so here we're seeing that most of the emissions for the unincorporated LA County are coming from transportation and stationary energy. It's about 53% from transportation and about 33% stationary energy. Stationary energy talks about our electricity, and so it's really our building consumption. I wanted to take a moment and share what the community profile looks like. Hopefully you guys are seeing, I added something to my screen. This is the West San Gabriel Valley area plan area. So we have the LA County separated into 9 geographical areas. And so this is the West San Gabriel Valley plan area. So this is where Altadena is in. One of the appendices to the CAP has all of these profiles. And so you'll find it in there. And we have a breakdown of the population within that area, but also interestingly, where your GHG emissions are coming. All the different communities are different. In this area, your emissions are really coming from residential. So that yellow part here is 78% residential. So that's the building consumption of your electricity. Commercial is about 12%. Institutional 8%. I think it's it's not really even capturing transportation in your breakdown. And so we also have a little box with some key climate actions that would support GHG emissions for your community based on where they're coming from. So really focusing on that building decarbonization would be a strategy for Altadena. So that is within Appendix D within the planning areas. And so these are the targets. I won't go into these details. I want to talk more about the strategies and then have opportunity for any questions. So let me just skip through. These are a list of strategies and measures. And so we have 10 strategies, like strategy 1 to decarbonize the energy supply. And then you could see the breakdown of the measures under that, how we would actually decarbonize the energy supply. Things like developing a sunset strategy for oil and gas operations. An action for that measure would be, for example, how the county, the planning department is working on an oil and gas operations ordinance amendment. And so that's how we would move measure ES1 forward. Other strategies that we have for transportation include increasing density diversity near transit. And when we're talking about transit, we're talking about those high quality transit areas that are based on the type of transit. So it's like metro and also the interval of bus frequency, right? So I'm not sure in Altadena what that looks like, but it's really in those areas where you have that quality transit and also increasing that balance. So people could create, you could create a place where people are able to walk to work or kind of use their commercial uses near their home. And also reducing single occupancy vehicles. That one's pretty self-explanatory. We also want to institutionalize low carbon transportation. And this is one area in where the county is really trying to show leadership. Some of the actions within the CAP speak to the municipal operations of the county. And so we are trying to really be a leader where we can, and we are trying to decarbonize our buildings, our facilities, and electrify our fleets. We are even looking at, I believe the Sheriff's Department has already electrified some of their inmate buses. And I think the fire department is looking at new technology that's coming up. And so we're really trying to lead the way in those areas where we can. Again, strategy 5, decarbonize buildings. And strategy 6, improve efficiency of building energy use. And also strategy 7 that talks about conserving water. These are all things that we could do in retrofitting our buildings in our communities. The other last strategies are minimizing waste and recovering energy materials from the waste stream, conserving forests and working lands, and sequestering carbon and implementing sustainable agriculture or other strategies as well. Really short and quick, this is the GHG inventory. This dotted line here is 2018. This is 2010, this is 2018. You see there is a little dip. So we dipped a little bit. This chart is showing that if we continue to live the way we live and we don't implement any of the regulations that have been adopted by the state of California, nothing like that, this is where our emissions would go. They would kind of steadily go off and then start to go up a little bit. Business as usual. This is what this is showing. Now, if we go ahead and implement all the efforts that the state of California, like the Clean Car Act, and all the different fuel efficiency efforts that are moving forward, we would start to dip even further. We would adjust our business as usual, and we would reduce our GHG emissions. But it doesn't really get us to 2045 carbon neutral. So that's the goal. So what we did is through forecasting all of the strategies that I showed you, we are able to then kind of map the course we need to go. which is this year. And then we did some tweaking to be able to then, based on our performance metrics and how aggressive they're kind of laid out and the types of things that we're showing, we are able to get closer to this 2045 carbon neutrality. We still don't hit it. There's a gap. This is why the 2045 goal is an aspirational goal. We don't have the current technology or ability to reduce our GHG emissions so much to hit that goal, at least not today. And so the plan is to continue to revise the climate action plan every 5 years to be able to reflect our GHG emission reductions and also technology that comes on the market, right? So as people will be electrifying their vehicles, all the variables start to change and hopefully reductions start to move down. This year is our timeline and our next steps. Like I mentioned, we released the cap. We will be releasing our environmental documents soon. We plan to have a final draft published by fall of 2022 and start the public hearing process late 2022. So first we go to the Regional Planning Commission, and if they support the plan, they would then recommend approval to the Board of Supervisors, and then we would go through a hearing there as well. And so that is the short presentation. This is our contact information. Again, I really encourage you to go to this website, take a look at the plan. If you guys have any further questions, we are available to schedule a phone call or a future presentation or discussion with your community, with this group, or one of your specialized committees. And you can send all of your comments to this email listed here. So thank you. And if you guys have any comments or questions, we're here.
Okay, if you stop sharing your screen, then we can see if we have any questions.
All right.
And there was a recommendation that you email the PowerPoint to the town council, if that's at all possible. Not sure if the PowerPoint itself is on your website, but you could certainly get it to Council Member Wong, and then she can get it to our website as well, or a link to your website.
Yes, I sent her a PDF of today's presentation, and in the future, you guys will see that same presentation, but in a video form, so you could kind of go through the workshop.
Thank you.
You know what I find that would be helpful is there were a lot of things that, I mean, I could figure out what it meant, but just being a lay person, I wouldn't know what those terms were. So I just thought, okay, if you broke it down just even more simpler, so that, I could explain to my neighbor, it would be really good.
Some sort of an abbreviation key.
Yeah, just what those terms meant, so that, yeah, that's it. But that was just my comment. Okay, was Cameron gonna say anything? Do you have anything to add?
I'm here just to help answer any questions if you all have any. Otherwise, Alejandrina, we'll finish up the presentation. Thanks for having us, though.
Oh, thank you for coming. That's good information. And of course, Councilmember Wong.
So yes, thank you very much for the presentation, and all of that is very important information. So I will definitely post the information. And so ultimately, July 8th is the deadline for public comment. And so I was actually really amazed. Alejandrina showed us that a lot of our GHG is coming from our residential properties. So however we can think, I guess that would be my comment, is however we can think about our information that's specific to, our reality now in Altadena, and maybe in the future, it's just a really great tool for us to, really think about our resiliency. So, and then Altadena is not, we're so diverse. We just talked about diversity. So, we have a lot of unique comments that I think would help. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Yeah, I have faith that we're going to meet that goal, 40-45. I just remember when smog was so bad here, and now the air to me seems so much better than it was when I was a kid here. So I just think, okay, Councilmember Knapp.
Just a question. When would be an appropriate time, excuse me, to have you guys back? I can imagine that once the community has an opportunity to watch this, if they're not tuning in live, down the road after July 8th and public comment has been submitted, there's probably a time to have you back. So if we could get an idea if that would be 6 months or 9 or a year from now, when would be a good idea for an update? Then we can add it to our list.
Yeah. So right now we're getting public comment. After that, we're going to have the final draft, which will go through the public hearing process. And so really right now we want to be having any discussions to make sure that we're all in agreement, you know, if there's something that needs to be revised or changed or fine-tuned. You know, we definitely don't want to go through the public hearing process and you know, not be able to show that we are supporting our communities, you know, and kind of listening to what, you know, your comments may be. And so we definitely want to have an end product that everybody could support. But then we start the public hearing process, and that is a lengthy process. Once the document is adopted would then be the next kind of phase of the project, which would be a good time for us to come back and say, these are the actions that we're working on. And then that's where we could kind of think about, well, how do we implement them in your community? If we're talking about decarbonization, well, maybe we can link you with types of programs and support if people are renovating their homes, or if we're talking about active transportation and kind of implementing those actions. So first, right now, we're just gathering all the information to make sure we have those plans and those steps. And then once the board adopts the plan, then we could get into the implementing of them, the second phase. So that might be in 2023.
Mm-hmm. And I would also encourage each council member to get with their census tract and maybe have a presentation or combine one. Sometimes in smaller groups, it works really well. But we, by the time they come back, we will be in person, so that will help a lot too. Okay. All right. Anything else? Comments, questions? Once, twice, gone. Okay.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. That was great. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to Southern California Edison update. We have David Ford and Dave Guzman. Is that right? I don't see Dave Guzman.
We don't have David Guzman. This is Jerry. I'm filling in for him.
All right.
Okay, I am trying to get to my screen. Okay, hold on one second.
David, you shared your desktop, just so you know.
Okay.
Dave, you're halfway there, Dave.
Let's see here. Okay, y'all see this? Does everyone see this?
Yes.
Undergrounding.
Okay. So let me get this. Most of the time we're doing Microsoft Teams. So Zoom has always been a challenge for us in some of our PowerPoint presentations. But I just want to acknowledge LA County and Regional Planning and the Office of Sustainability on their adoption of a sustainability plan. The work that they do and the work that SE is doing on clean energy, clean power pathways and minding the gap is really lock and step to really finding ways in which we can reduce greenhouse gases. And we have a transportation goal of electrification of transportation, building codes to electrify the building industry. And of course, we're doing a lot as a company to provide generation that is clean generation, wind, solar, geothermal, biomass, and hydro. this presentation, I know we only have about 10 minutes. I'm joined by my colleague, Jerry Avila, who's with me, and he's in vegetation management. So I just wanted to, first of all, say thank you to the Altadena Town Council. I've worked with y'all over the last several years, and even during Supervisor Antonivich's reign as a supervisor, and then with Supervisor Barger and her staff, we've had, some challenges and ups and downs, and, we've been able to work through many of these. And, the work that we're doing now is grid hardening and infrastructure technology that helps us be much more responsive to outages and reduce fire risk. In the picture you see here on the screen, it basically is a helicopter that we invested about 18 million in the purchase of 2 helicopters that are shared mutually by Ventura County, Orange County, and LA County to fight potential wildfire threats. Again, just mentioned about the $18 million that we use for firefighting resource and assets. And this kind of gives the performance of hours of flight time that has been used in some of the recent fires that we've had here in Southern California. I'm gonna go through this pretty fast because I did with the time sensitivity. These are some of the stats of activations of the 2020 fire season. Everyone knows about PSPS activation, public power safety shutoff. In 2020, we had 13. In 2021, we had 9. We de-energized roughly about 584 circuits in 2020, and then in 2021 is about 114 circuits. So the work that we're doing on covered conductor shows that the focus has been on reducing the fire risk and making an investment back into our system, which ultimately is paying off by the reduction of those PSPS activations. It shows a 45% reduction, what I just mentioned, 1,500 miles of covered conductor, and 700 miles of expedited grid hardening, which all shows the reductions in PSPS activations and the scope of that work. These are critical care backup batteries that we deployed for folks that are on critical care. We did almost 7,000 backup batteries for customers that, they're on life support and medical, critical care customers. Our visits with our community resource vehicles, roughly around 3,000 visits during that time. Virtual meetings that we had is over 100 or more in our communities, virtual meetings, and community-based organizations receive monthly information from SCE to share. And these are resources of, talks about our customer service centers and community resource vehicles, our customer programs, and customer resiliency programs with the PSPS activations. Translation of language in 120 languages, including American Sign Language as well. And then this goes into our expanded notification to all medical baseline customers when we do have a PSPS activation. We partner with 211 to provide customer with access to functional needs. The designated ANF coordinator doing AFN coordinator doing PSPS activations, and then our expanded battery programs and in-event support services to customers with our community resource locations. Continuing to provide collaboration with state agencies, public safety partners, and critical infrastructure partners and community-based organizations with new portal safety partner information that we provide on our portal. We certainly are always looking for feedback and additional information to help us with, support for local communities. And this goes into what some of our activities were, opportunities for improvement in the 2022 activities to enhance portal features and functionalities of our portal, where that's an external portal that you can go in and access information about our programs and services. These are some of the websites to get more information. There's a SCE wildfire webpage, SCE notifications, situation awareness about PSPS, our vegetation management website, customer service programs, where you can purchase rebate programs on generators, and applications to enroll customers in medical baselines. And then our wildfire safety community meetings can be seen at this website under the community meeting information there on the screen. And then additional information about our programs and services on Energized by Edison. I'm going to, because of time frame, this kind of goes over our geographical area of our service territory. How many square miles do we have in high wildfire areas? Our distribution lines, our high fire risk areas, about 14,000 miles of high fire areas, 5 million customers in those areas of high wildfire, and 13, roughly about 1.3 million customer counts or residents served by circuits in high wildfire areas. So I'm gonna introduce Jerry, who's on, who's joining me today, and I'm gonna allow him to do a self-introduction. And while he is giving his introduction, I'm gonna switch over to his presentation, so he can be able to talk to it. Jerry.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Ford. I'm going to ask you to skip over to page 13, I believe, on that second presentation. I'm going to actually cover some topics, or go over a few topics that the community here has had questions, and I wanted to address them here before we even move on to that one. So one thing that one of the community members brought up was people impersonating or trying to scout out for break-ins. All of our contractors should have badges on them. If they don't, please call us, even if you are unsure of whether or not they are our contractors. If you call the 800 number that's on your bill, I quite literally get a phone call on my cell phone to verify whether that person should be there or not. Another one that we had come up was inspections for fire patrols doing, checking for brush in our high fire hazard areas, which are pictured here on the screen. We will be starting our own joint fire patrols with the fire department here in the next month or two, inspecting our facility. So we will also be entering your properties alongside the fire department to inspect these areas of concern, which is everything that you see in our tier 3 and tier 2, which is the northern side of Altadena. Let me see, what else did we have here come up? Okay, so let me just go ahead and jump on into this slide right here. This is our schedule for Altadena. I know it's a little bit small here. I'm sure we're going to be sharing this with everyone. Should anyone have any questions, I'm also going to be leaving my email address in the chat box. So if anyone has questions on their specific locations, feel free to call me. But we break down our area in Altadena into these districts you see on the left side, and those districts are, those grids are broken up into the months that you see corresponding next to that number. We are currently working a little bit behind schedule. We've had issues with our environmental not releasing work to us. We started doing far more inspections as far as tree nesting areas, or bird nesting areas, and things of that nature, waterways. So we have been a little bit behind cycle, but if you look at the schedule that we have here, we should be, give or take, 45 days to 30 days behind right now. Okay, and then Mr. Ford, if you could just, I'm going to cover one more, scroll up a bit on that presentation. Let me see if we got one. There's one last one that I always love to cover. Can you scroll up to, I believe it's page 10? Yep, right. Let's actually go back. I went too far. It's actually 12. So this right here, right tree replace, is one thing that I love to cover at any meeting and make it very known to everyone. There are certain trees that should not be planted underneath power lines. These are fast growing trees, things like palms, eucalyptus, ash, that become very difficult for us to maintain aesthetically and also from a safety aspect for the general public and our facilities. So we always try and recommend that people pay attention to this and plant bigger trees further away from our lines. If you have any questions about this, please call us. I will go out there personally and give you suggestions as to what should be planted there or where it should be planted. If you do have currently, or if you currently have on your property trees that are too close to power lines and you would like them replaced, that is also something that SCE offers. We will replace fast growing tree species that are underneath our lines. We're not going to be removing trees that are off to the side that are slow growing trees, something that we can maintain away from our power lines, but if it is something of concern, that is something that we are open to. So please call us. Thank you. That's all I've got for you guys.
Thank you, Jerry. I really appreciate you joining us this evening. You can put your contact information or your email in the chat if y'all have any additional questions to ask us. I will put my contact information in the chat as well. Couple of things I just want before I close out. I've worked with many of you over the last several years, and I just want to acknowledge Dorothy Wong, who I have just been have a lot of engagement with her over the last several years. And recently we had a major project in the Meadows community that she worked hand in hand with us and the fire department to streamline the project and make it more acceptable to the community. And I just wanted to thank her for her support and her cadence of really bring that project to us, that we needed to be more involved with the community and address their questions and concerns. And I just want to thank you, Councilman Dorothy, as I just mentioned. There is more to this presentation, and maybe we can come back at a different time to have a little bit more discussion, because I know that many of you may have more questions, because when we do have outages or engaged work, we'll get questions from supervisor or members of the town council, and because of other issues on other items on the agenda, I don't want to take up much more time, but I will take on a few questions that I see in the chat. I'll be glad to. Chairman Jones, did you want me to read the question, or?
Yeah, sure. If you want to read them, or I can read them. I see them.
Can we end screen?
Yeah, close your screen.
My screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, just end screen share.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, the first one is, how can we get information about how to help neighbors determine if they are eligible for the backup battery program during outages. And can you share the presentation with us so that we can put it on our website?
Yes, I'll be glad to share the presentation. There's a couple of links that are that I provided in my discussion, and I think it was the last slide in the presentation showed programs and services. And you can go there and navigate to that link to get information about critical care customers and their eligibility to apply for that program. It's a really good program, and I have participated in some of the outreach activities and where we set up the generator for customers. So it's really a great program that we're glad to be able to provide to customers in need.
Okay, all right. And the next question, given the livelihood of persistent drought, is there any plans to bury the lines in these high fire zones?
We currently have what we call Rule 20 programs, in which is 3 or 4 different criteria of undergrounding. One is Rule 20A, in which it's allotment of funds that accumulation of funds that cities and counties have to do undergrounding in public thoroughways where you have a lot of visual life, power lines and other telecom power lines and other visibility that just is congested in a major thoroughway. The other is Rule 20B, in which a city wants to do an underground project and they board a cost of that project. And Rule 20C is where a contractor is doing for instance, a new subdivision, and they want the lines underground leading up to the transformer, which would be bored by the contractor. There is discussion right now at the PUC about undergrounding in some areas of high wildfire to minimize the risk of wildfires. I don't think that decision has been made yet. Jerry, do you have more information about that? But I recently heard that they're looking at that right now. It's just that, some of the geographical areas and terrain is very, very difficult to do undergrounding. And where an undergrounding of a power line overhead construction for a mile is roughly around 600,000, where undergrounding is roughly around 3 million per mile.
Yeah, Mr. Ford, I think you're correct on that one. The only thing I will add is that you are absolutely correct that Altadena has some very difficult areas to go ahead and underground, specifically because in my line of work, some of the very mature trees would be impacted because of this. So because of that, I know that they are really trying to lean heavy on covered conductor. That is absolutely great for us. As far as trees go, we still have to maintain clearances away from those lines, but it does buy us a lot of time and prevent a lot of fires, along with a lot of the new equipment that's been going up in your guys' neighborhoods for weather monitoring and faster acting switches. A lot of that stuff's really helping. So we've seen a big change. In the past, I'd get calls all night or over lines coming down. And I do think we've made some very, very decent progress with covered conductor. And I don't believe that there's a whole lot of plans in Altadena for undergrounding, but there could be something I'm just not aware of.
Okay, thank you. We do have another question, but I'm kind of hesitating because of time, Dorothy. Is that something maybe you can email?
Yeah, I think this calls out. I truly appreciate all the work. This is a huge task at hand. And so I'd love to continue the conversation about increasing covered conductors. We don't have to answer it now. And then there are residents that are willing to contribute to the costs because they're so worried about their wildfire risk, or if it can help them not completely over trim, the feeling of over trimming trees. So you don't have to answer that.
Yeah.
But
And what we should plan to do is we should be going back in person next month. So that's an announcement, take note. So what we can do is have a special meeting, and we can invite both of these presentations back to just have in the meeting. That's all we'll have in those meetings. Is that what we want? Okay, Dorothy, go ahead.
Just quickly.
Councilmember Wong.
Thank you. It was just amazing. I have to applaud the hard work of the SCE crews and the coordination between the county and the fire department. So much so that we're ready to gift. The residents were so happy. They wanted to get gifts for the hardworking crew. So we really appreciate the hard work as well that SCE did for our community. So thank you.
Well, we certainly appreciate, each council member for their efforts to, bring issues and concerns to our attention, and the collaboration to be able to work with you through some of the challenges. And, lastly, I just want to say before I close, my prayers are for Dr. Thomas's speedy recovery. We all know how important she is to us. And once she gets out, I guess I have to drive her over to El Polo Loco.
Get her some chicken. Yeah. And you can call her. She still answers her line, and she's happy to hear from everybody. I think Nick had something to say.
Yeah, first off, I want to thank our awesome Chamber Citizen of the Year, Deb Halberstadt. She put together a summary of a visit that we recently paid. Recently, ALD, LUSD Captain Jabari Williams and Altadena's Deb of our local community emergency response team, her husband, John Hayner, from our local catastrophe committee, and my fellow council member, Dorothy Wong, and I attended an emergency operations center meeting at SCE. It was with several other regional representatives also attending, and we were informed. A lot of it was covered tonight, but Deb wanted to make sure that we got this info out there. I think it's useful. We were informed about the center itself, SCE's wide-ranging plans to deal with our continuing and growing statewide wildfire threat. They included the Mobile Community Resource Center that they've developed, system hardening, advanced technologies for transmission of power. They gave us a look at the weather stations they use to measure the wind and its gusts, an alliance with Orange County firefighting helicopters. It really goes on, and I think it just says that it was definitely an eye-opening and detailed look at the response measures put into place and just the overwhelming amount of variables that are considered by SCE and all that work. And I felt left with a better understanding and appreciation for the work SCE is putting into our public safety in the event of future emergencies. So I thank you. And those visits are going to be continuingly available.
Yeah, invite us back again. Deb's exact words were, "You were forever in her good graces." For that visit. So yeah, so okay, so invite us back again, and thank you for coming tonight. We're going to move along because time is ticking, and I did promise Pasadena Media we would be out. We wouldn't be here all night. Okay, so we move on. We're going to have our community reports, and we're going to have Altadena Library District, Nikki Winslow.
All right, good evening, council members and members of the public. As usual, I have 1,000 things to say, so I will just kick right off and get going. Oh, I should start it here though, huh? Okay.
I'm gonna let you say 500 of those 1,000.
Oh, okay, I'll do my best. All right, so just wanted to highlight our next board meeting. A lot of times I get feedback that people aren't aware of when the board does meet. So it's the 4th Monday of each month, which means it's our upcoming Monday, May the 23rd at 5 o'clock. We're still holding virtual meetings, so you're welcome to just jump on our Altadena Library YouTube channel to check out those meetings. We do post the package as well ahead of time. I'll probably have that published tomorrow. So if people are interested in seeing what is going to be discussed this month, largely budget items, to be honest with you, we're in budget season right now. That will post on the library's website under the Board of Trustees meeting materials page. We're also going to be closed in observance of Memorial Day on Monday, May 30th. So really quick, because you guys might start getting questions about this, in terms of the special tax lien, which is the tax that's going to go onto our tax rolls this coming fiscal year, due to the passage of Measure Z. We sent out a mailer to all Altadena property owners the week of April 25th, and they're definitely getting received because I have been receiving a lot of phone calls and emails. So what I wanted to let town council know is that the rate for fiscal year 22-23, because it's only collecting enough to pay the debt service on the bond issuance, it's not including the service and operational funding that will replace Measure A in a couple of years from now. So the rate for this coming fiscal year is basically 48 cents per square foot for single family homes, $55.50 per apartment unit, $164.20 for commercial property under 10,000 square feet, and $222.15 for commercial property over 10,000 square feet. There's also a loan income exemption application that local residents can apply for, that they need to apply through June 30th, and that's something that would have to be done each year. So we're trying to get the word out as soon as possible about this. There's more information on our website, altadenalibrary.org/next-chapter. That's a page that's like the landing page for everything related to the building projects, but there is a button on there for the special tax lien where they can find that application and more information about all of this. Or if you have people that reach out, I'm happy to field their questions. You can have them email me or even call the library and ask for me directly. So more information to come, but the letter did go out, and I anticipate that some of you might hear from some of your constituents. All right, where'd my mouse go? So this weekend is the big annual Friends of the Library book sale. Members of the Friends have exclusive access to all of the sale items from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. this coming Saturday. If you're not a member, you can join at the time. It's only $10 to join. And you can support the Friends who do fund a lot of our programming throughout the year, including things like Second Saturday. Sunday, they will be selling books also from 12 to 4. And there's going to be thousands and thousands of used fiction, nonfiction books, CDs, DVDs, you name it. I think they have vinyls, all kinds of stuff too. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month. One of the things that we've scheduled is meditation with instructor Amy Rutledge on Zoom every Tuesday evening in May. So that actually took place during your meeting. So check it out the next few weeks. On May 31st, we're actually going to be featuring a sound bath as part of that too. I haven't been able to do it this round, but I have in the past. It's so relaxing. I highly recommend. Sounds weird doing it on Zoom, but honestly, it works. Just turn your lights off and lay down. We're also doing an affirmations and mindful thought tree in the children's area of the library, as well as social posts promoting resources and displays throughout the library, just highlighting the importance of mental health. We are also promoting some LA County virtual workshops. If you look on our website on our events page, that did take place this past Monday, but then also this coming Monday as well. We have also been recognizing Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. See you there, Dot. It actually passed already, but we did host Sam Mahara on Saturday, May 7th to share his family story about living in a U.S. internment camp back during World War II. Well-attended and very meaningful program. We also have lots of displays throughout the library featuring books and materials on these themes, culture and authors and more, as well as a carousel on the website featuring these types of materials as well. So check that out. So we have 2 second Saturdays in June. Due to having to cancel our February 2nd Saturday, we're able to offer 2, which I guess is a first and a second Saturday in June. On June 4th, we have Michael Haggins, who combines instrumental smooth jazz and R&B to generate a smooth funk sound. That's going to be from 5 to 6:30 as we're like kind of coordinating it with our summer reading program kickoff. And then the following Saturday, June the 11th, we will have Upstream from 7 to 9. SoCal's premier live reggae, spreading a message of love and positivity. Who doesn't love that? They're usually very well attended from what I understand. I haven't been able to attend one of theirs yet. So if you are coming, I highly recommend bringing your own chairs. It's going to be outside and there is overflow parking at the senior center for those that attend. If you haven't been to the library lately, we have a new art exhibit. It's Dale Volker's exhibit, Moving Color. It's going to be on display through May the 30th his work is beautiful. Honestly, it's some of the most stunning art that I've seen in the library, and I've seen quite a bit in a variety of libraries I've worked for. It's featured in both our community room as well as the reading court, so highly recommend you come check it out. Mallory Mortelaro, she's a curator of collections for the Hartley Dodge Foundation, is going to be offering a program on Zoom for us. She uncovered a masterpiece that had been lost to the art world since the 1930s, which ended up being authenticated as work by Auguste Rodin. You can sign up for this very interesting program. It's going to be next Tuesday, the 24th at 5 p.m. So really cool. We've partnered with Huntington Hospital to offer free health screenings on Tuesdays from 10 to 12 at the library. Come in, you can get, if you fast, you can get your blood sugar checked. She'll take your blood pressure and some other screenings just to make sure everybody's healthy. And as part of this partnership with the American Heart Association as well, we're adding 4 blood pressure cuffs to the Library of Things. So people will be able to check out the cuff and take them home, or, you know, the checkout time to be able to check on your blood pressure. There's going to actually be a media event on Tuesday, May 24th from 10 to 12 with local news stations, as like this is the first time libraries have been checking out pressure cuffs. So if you don't make it in, watch the news, because you might see us that night. We have our new adult bilingual book club that's actually meeting in my office on Saturday, May 28th at 3 p.m. May's selection is The Things We Lost in the Fire by Mariana Enriquez. Just this past Saturday, we kicked off a teen gardening club. Both our teen librarian, Isabel Briggs, as well as volunteer Paulina Aravalo, are working with teens to plant and tend a vegetable garden, flower beds, and indoor plants at the library. Teens can receive volunteer service hours for this, and they'll be meeting every other Saturday from 9 to 10 all the way through July 30th. So summer reading does kick off. I can't believe it's already time for 2022 summer reading. Where did this year go, honestly? So we'll be kicking off on June the 4th. We'll have an opening event from 2 to 6:30. So from 2 to 4, we'll have ballet for Cloico de Brazil, as well as I mentioned, music by Michael Haggins. If you're not able to make the event, you can also go to our website or stop at the library starting on June 4th to get information about how you can participate in reading challenges and track your reading. I believe this year we're going to be counting by minutes, so we'll come up with a way to track how many minutes everybody in Altadena has read. Almost done, I promise. So I wanted to thank Nick Arnzen for organizing and including the Altadena Library District in his opening ceremony and kickoff event for the Altadena Pride Month, starting at the main library on June the 11th. I messaged him to ask what time it starts because I don't have that written down, so maybe he can put that in the chat for us. I know it's going to start with us, and then there's going to be a walk around town, so that should be fun. Leading up to that day, we're going to have story times the week of June the 11th. That will be Pride theme, as well as concluding that day with hosting an LGBTQ extravaganza family bingo at the main library from 2 to 3:30. And also thank you to Veronica Jones for collaborating with us to partner on a Juneteenth presentation, and I'm talking about this because you guys meet after this event. So I think your meeting's a couple days after, which will be the history of African Americans in Altadena. That's going to be here in our community room on Saturday, June 18th from 2 to 3:30. We're also going to have a special story time and craft celebrating Juneteenth on Friday, June 17th from 4 to 5, as well as staff working on developing a Wikipedia entry for Ellen Garrison Clark. So lots going on as usual. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I will stop sharing.
Any questions? No questions? Thank you for that, Nikki. Thank you.
Yep. Good to see you all.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to Parks and Rec. Sam Estrada.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Veronica. So I'll make this quick as possible. So we have a lot going on, and we've had a lot that's happened over the last couple months. So I'll start with Farnsworth. So As I mentioned in the last meeting, we do have our playground closure that'll be starting on May 31st, and it's going to go all the way through August. That is a tentative end date for the construction project of the renovation of the playground, but we're tentatively scheduling it for August. So if that does change, I'll make sure to keep everybody updated on that change. And when the area is under construction, please just be respectful of that closed off area. We know that although a lot of people may want to get in and be in the playground, during the summer at Farnsworth, the playground will be closed to the public. Also at Farnsworth, we have an upcoming event this Thursday. It's going to be the We Rise Sunset event. And this event is going to basically be a free live music with, we're determining the performer, but it's looking like we'll have a Spanish flamenco performer. And it's just going to be a wonderful open green space physical activities with mindful meditation and social interaction with powerful roles in health, fitness, and overall well-being. So it's going to be a great time at Farnsworth in the amphitheater, and it's going to be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we hope everybody joins us this Thursday at Farnsworth. And it is free, so it's going to be somewhat of a kind of just a mindful concert, not really a concert, but just live music playing for the community. So we hope you can come out and enjoy that time. And also enjoy coming out every morning for pickleball at Farnsworth. So we have some great courts out there and great turnout from all ages coming out to play every single day. So some great morning weather, so be sure to come out and enjoy pickleball at Farnsworth. And then during the summer, we have our Everybody Plays Drop-In, and that's going to be Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 4:30. And that kicks off on June 13th, and will go all the way until August 15th. So basically, this program is going to be just a drop-in adventure program for the kids, and it's going to be a safe space where youth can come and play and create friendships and partake in activities like fitness, self-care, sports, arts, games, creative outlets like storytelling, STEM programming. And so we look forward to seeing everybody over there at Farnsworth, and it's a free program that we're offering thanks to the board office for that. And then we do have our summer concert series that's going to be starting up at Farnsworth Park. And kicking off the concert series will be, and actually this is the 25th annual concert series that will be hosted at Farnsworth. And it's going to be started by Fred Dinkins and Friends. And that'll be on Saturday, June 25th at 7 p.m. And then the official concert series will start up on Saturday, July 9th, going all the way until September 10th. So hosted by the Rotary and Farnsworth, and LA County Parks and Recreation. So we're looking forward to celebrating 25 years of this amazing concert that we provided to the Altadena and neighboring communities. So we're looking forward to that, and it should be a wonderful time this summer. Moving over to Loma Alta, we have our We Rise event. We had a We Rise event on Wednesday, May 11th. And so the kids were out there with music and activities and raffles and prizes, along with our PAD stakeholder event. And we were happy to have been joined by Dorothy. She was there and was able to see all the activities that we're doing. So we're looking forward to hosting more activities like this in the future with our Summer Parks After Dark program. Which is going to start up on June 16th and go all the way until August 6th. And those that aren't familiar with it, it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday program from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And it's going to be movies, concerts, sports. The pool will be open late nights. We'll have games, raffles, and prizes and food. And again, that's June 16th through August 6th. And then we have our summer STEM program, and that's going to be June 13th. And this program is actually currently full at this moment. So we're really only taking we're only taking wait lists. So unfortunately, that's the only way to get into the program. So you still can register, but it's only for ages 7 to 12. And the wait list is open on our website. So we did fill up pretty fast because the program was completely free. And then moving over to our pool at Loma Alta, the pool does open on Saturday, June 11th, and class registration for swim classes and the various other classes that they will be offering will be online as early as May 31st. And then we have our summer contract classes. And so our summer contract classes, if you're not familiar with that, will be our classes that we're offering for various instructors, whether that's in person or virtual. And there'll be arts and culture, computer classes, exercise and fitness, health and wellness, martial arts, performing arts, music and dance, and special interest programs. So you can visit our parks.lacounty.gov/summer classes. And you can see all the classes that are available, not just in Altadena, but all across LA County. And then moving down to our horse arena, we've been getting some concerns and some complaints from our community members about patrons parking their personal vehicles inside the arena. We want to remind everybody that the arena is not meant for personal vehicles, that it's only for trailers and trucks that are bringing in the trailers for the horses. And it can cause a problem if people are parking their vans and vehicles inside the arena. So just as a common courtesy, if you're trying to drop off anything for your parties at the arena, for the picnic shelter over there, please don't use the arena, because we do have horses that are in there and we don't want any incidents or anything like that. So please, no personal vehicles inside our arena. If you have more questions, you can always call the park for information about that. Summer sports, we have our basketball clinics that will be provided Monday through Friday from 5:30 to 7 for ages 6 to 17. And then lastly, here's a couple special events that we'll be hosting in the next month. We'll be having at Triangle Park, as it was mentioned, a community picnic, part of the Pride celebration hosted by Nick Edison. So we're looking to host that. And then for those that were wondering, Miss Penny Daniels did retire, and she has officially retired from LA County Parks and Recreation. That was effective as of April 30th. So she will be having a celebration carnival at Loma Alta Park, and it will be on Saturday, June 11th, and it will be from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. And she's looking to have for the community, because Miss Penny, if you knew her, she was all about giving back to the community and giving back to anybody, whether that, kids, adults, seniors, everybody. So she's going to have food, jumpers, music, and just activities for the entire community to take part in this event. And so Miss Penny Daniels is officially retired after 32 years of commitment, dedication, and advocacy programming. She changed many lives, giving back to the community, and she's just really loved her community. She's put her heart, sweat, and tears into that park, and she also oversaw Farnsworth Park as well as Charles White. And so she's, we hate to see her go, but she left a lasting impact on the Altadena community. I know she was actually also instrumental in getting those concerts at Farnsworth and helping my father start that, and just getting a lot of other programs going. So we look forward to the community showing out and just honoring her on that day on June 11th at Farnsworth Park. And it'll be out on the ball field. And so it'll be from 12 to 5 p.m. And then lastly, if you have any questions about any of our activities or what we offer, please visit parks.lacounty.gov. And if you're looking to become an instructor, it's parks.lacounty.gov/become an instructor, or a partner, or /partner. And any schools interested, you can do parks.lacounty.gov/MOA. And that wraps up my report.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sam. That was
Thanks.
good to hear that Miss Penny, she retired. I'm looking forward to going to her celebration. She's been here for, I don't know how many years, at least 35. Yeah, so, okay. All right, we're going to move along, and we're going to move through this last part really quick because it's getting late. We've covered a lot tonight. Okay, we still have a community report from the Altadena Historical Society. Daria, I'm hesitant to say your name because I'll mess it up.
Chair Jones, Chamber of Commerce first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I skipped Doug.
Boy, Veronica. Wow.
Oh, it's only.
Jeez,
okay.
Louise.
Doug, I'm so sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right.
This is being recorded.
Just a couple of things. I'm sure everybody is aware that the Chamber's annual Installation and Awards Dinner is this Friday evening. We have two terrific honorees with Deb Halberstadt and Stacy Whitney. The signups, the reservations are really strong, but I think if you haven't done it and you're inclined, do so tomorrow and you can get in. It will be a wonderful, wonderful evening. And we'd love to have you join us. And then secondly, we have a business mixer coming up on June 25th. It's actually going to be held at the library, but it's a mixer put on by Alan Peck and his Sweet Summer Delight products at the library. And that'll be on June 25th. And then lastly, I know it's been mentioned by a couple, but I wanted to add a couple of comments about the Pancake Breakfast. It is Saturday from 8 to 10:30. The entire event is underwritten by the Altadena Rotary Club, and meaning 100% of all the ticket sales will go to the Altadena Town Council, Outward Bound Adventures, and the Sheriff's Mountain Rescue Team. So not only is it a good fundraiser, but it's a great opportunity for the community to get together and do some just commiserating and have some fun. And last but not least, it's all due to the generosity of Grocery Outlet and providing the space for us to have it there. So please share the event if you haven't already, and hopefully we'll see you out there Saturday morning. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that, Doug. I apologize.
I'll get over it. It's going to take some time, but I'll get over it.
Okay, all right. So now we have 5.4, and that would be the Altina Historical Society with Daria Tapusa.
Hello, thank you. Daria Tapusas. So I'm a board member with the Altadena Historical Society. Thank you very much to the town council for giving me some time to talk, and I just want to make a very brief comment. And it's very good to follow Nikki with the Altadena Library Report, because I want to just give you an update about Ellen Garrison Clark. So as you might remember, last year we raised funds to honor her. She was born and raised on the East Coast. She was a Black abolitionist, civil rights activist right after the Civil War, and a teacher who taught enslaved people to read and write. So she was a very important person. She spent the last part of her life in the Pasadena, Altadena area, was buried at Mountain View, but never got a gravestone or any marker. And so she was essentially forgotten, at least here locally. So when we heard her story, we really wanted to honor her and her memory. So the board, and in particular Veronica and Dr. Thomas, went into the local community and told the story and raised money. And we just want to raise enough money to give her a gravestone, but it turns out that this community really rallied and was really passionate about honoring this person. So we raised way more money than we could spend on a gravestone. So we were able to do that last year, and we had a Juneteenth event, and we unveiled the new marker. But we had this extra funds, and since Ellen Garrison Clark was a teacher, and that was obviously one of her passions, we decided we would honor her memory by making a scholarship in her name, and we wanted to give it to a John Muir High School student from an underrepresented demographic. So we worked with the principal of John Muir, Dr. Lawton Gray, as well as Dr. Nancy Gonzalez-Hoser of Muir. They actually worked through the process to select somebody to win this scholarship. We're going to be naming that person later this month. And then at that Juneteenth celebration at the Altadena Library, which again will be June 18th, we are going to officially hand the winner their scholarship. So we wanted to announce that so you'd all be aware of it, and we want to welcome the town council members and anybody of the community who's interested. Please come out and help us celebrate this deserving student who's about to get a scholarship. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Daria. Thank you. The Historical Society does amazing things. Finding that out. Okay, we're going to move on. We have some visitors here. I'm not quite sure. It's Kenneth Marcus.
These are public comments.
What is he? What?
These are our public comments.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. I wasn't sure. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so we're going to move on now, and hope I don't forget anybody, to our Communications Committee, Council Member Arzan.
Thank you, Chair Jones. The Communication Committee is finalizing the elements for the new neighbor welcome packs, as well as council member welcome packs, which are important because before you know it, we will once again be in election season, and the Communication Committee is actively encouraging the council to set an earlier and more aggressive campaign to get the word out to potential candidates, as well as voters, with a goal for bigger numbers at the polls. Our surveys that we did at the polls last year and one this spring indicate that the majority of Altadenans find out about the council through campaign efforts and the yearly election. So the more community members who vote, the more county sees that we are paying attention. This is a good thing. So while it's still 6 months off, that will go by quickly, and I encourage our community to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Safe Streets, Council Member Wong.
Thank you, Councilmember Jones. Just some meeting date reminders for our upcoming meetings. Sorry, I just lost my little cue. There it is. So the Altadena Safe Streets Traffic Safety and Mobility Committee advocates for safe, inclusive, and healthy streets for all users, regardless of mode and ability. So the monthly meetings are the fourth Thursday of the month, which means May 26th at 7 p.m. We have the same Zoom. It's virtual right now, so we have the Zoom link. I'll make sure to post that on the calendar page of our website so anyone can join. And then on June 2nd at 8 a.m., California Walks will be working with our community members to learn how to do a community walk audit using also the Street Story tool as a way for us to better explain any traffic safety issues or concerns we have in our community. So I will also post that on our community calendar. And again, Metro Los Angeles in June will be providing us an update on the Altadena micro transit pilot and how that has been going, as well as the next gen bus as they look to improve transit service in our community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we move right along to Council Member Knack and the Education Committee.
Thank you, Chair Jones. I wanted to make the community aware that we have reestablished the Altadena Town Council Education Committee, which I am chairing. I'm looking for residents of Altadena who have or have had their children in Altadena non-charter public schools to join the committee. Once formed, the committee will develop its mission statement. The goal is to further the community's knowledge of our public schools and promote their offerings, that we continue to educate local realtors on those offerings as viable options to new families moving into Altadena, that representatives of the committee attend relevant school board meetings where the school sites in Altadena, both open and closed, are being discussed, and attend other events in support of our schools, and that we ensure that the residents of Altadena keep abreast of any decisions being made by the school district having to do with the public school sites in Altadena. Further, the committee will partner with other public school organizations who are hosting or looking to host events in Altadena. I anticipate the committee will meet monthly and meetings will be open to the public. If you're interested, please reach out to me, victoria.knapp@altadenatowncouncil.org. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving right along to Land Use, Council Member Markison.
Thank you. Yes, the land use meeting met 2 weeks ago. We did not have any items that we took action on or heard presentations. However, we had Mi Kim of Urban Planning, part of Department of Regional Planning, who came and talked with us about ADUs, answered questions that the Town Council Land Use Committee members had regarding ADUs, and also gave us an overview of the West San Gabriel Valley plan that we actually heard part of today with the climate presentation. So that was what we talked about in the meeting. And if you're interested in finding out anything about those or hearing any of the answers that we got regarding ADUs, please go ahead and look us up on YouTube, land use and the date. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, that was a good meeting. That was a lot of good information. We have bylaws. What's your name? Oh, Councilmember Cauliflower.
All right. Just very quickly, we had a retreat earlier this year, and one of the items that we thought needed a couple of things looked at was bylaws. I drew the short straw and agreed to take the lead on that and recruited Diane Markison to help me. We did a draft which was shared with the entire council, and we have received some comments back, and we are in the process of dissecting those and incorporating those as best we can, and we'll get the next draft out very, very soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to public comment. Our public comment is 2 minutes, and you are timed, and we don't respond to public comment. So, Dorothy?
Yes, so we received, thank you. We received 3 comments, and it just turns out, I think we just lost one of our commenters. So we are actually letting them provide their feedback live. So Catalina, would you like to unmute yourself, provide your comment?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Catalina. I'm a junior at Grand Rapids High School, and I've been an Altadena resident for 15 years. This comment is concerning the intersection of Santa Rosa Avenue and Altadena Drive. So living Altadena in my whole life, I've always enjoyed and treasured the community and atmosphere we are surrounded by, compared to other parts of LA, which are mostly built up with infrastructure, cars, and spread out neighborhoods. Altadena is one of the trails, safe community, and quiet streets make it a treasured yet almost secret town in the Los Angeles area. Below Altadena Drive, the Altadena businesses are alive and bustling. There is the Altadena Library, the Girl Scout Camp, Cafe Leche, and so much more. Whether I'm with my friends or just by myself, I enjoy to stop by these places to support Altadena. And while these locations are less than a mile away from my house, I normally drive to these businesses due to the complication and danger of crossing the intersection of Santa Rosa Avenue and Altadena Drive. The intersection has made walking to these locations particularly difficult because there's only 2 stop signs at Santa Rosa and no crosswalks. Drivers go really fast with no desire to stop for pedestrians on Altadena Drive. There have been many times when I have walked down the street and I have had to turn back or just had to wait multiple minutes because it's been way too busy. So to combat this issue, to make this intersection safer for drivers and pedestrians, I would like to propose a build of 2 stop signs at Altadena Drive. So it would be a 4-way stop sign intersection and crosswalks on both Santa Rosa Avenue and Altadena Drive for walkers. These new additions will not only make for a safer Altadena, but would also promote more pedestrian bustle to the businesses below instead of driving to these locations. So more people would feel protected and inspired to walk to their local community. Yeah, that's.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Catalina. Let's get Marcus, Kenneth Marcus.
Thank you, Councilmember Wong, and thank you also to Council members Reggie Wilkins and Doug Cauliflower for providing their very helpful insight on this issue, which has to do with peacocks in our neighborhood. We have a growing problem with peacocks in the East Altadena neighborhood. I know this is a problem that really encompasses much of East San Gabriel Valley, but we've noticed in the last several years this problem has really intensified, and we would like to read into the record that the peacocks are a public nuisance under Civil Code sections 347 and 3480. And we are requesting that the County of Los Angeles capture and relocate them from our neighborhood. The peacocks are a terrible nuisance. They scratch and damage cars, they damage roofs, they screech at all hours of the night, they defecate everywhere. Those with children are seriously concerned as a health issue in our neighborhood. And with the help of one of the longtime members of my blog, Sharon Collins, my wife, Christina Sigmarcus, and I, we collected 60 signatures from our community within 4 days, and we'd be happy to collect more to support this idea of the Altadena Council requesting LA County to provide the funds to capture and relocate these birds from our neighborhood. Thank you for the allotted time.
Thank you for coming, and I'm sure Councilman Wilkins and Councilmember Cauliflower will be very helpful. Okay, is that it, Dorothy, for public comment?
Yeah, so we had, I just wanted to read in the chat because we had U.S. Forest Supervisor for the LA Gateway District, Jamal Butler, and I'm just going to read his quick chat into record that he wanted to introduce himself. Sorry, I think it got cut off in the chat. But anyway, program areas include, wow, does anyone else? Let me see. Let me just swing up here. Oh, there it is. Hi, everyone. I had to stop at 9 a.m. I just wanted to reintroduce myself, Jamal Butler, District Ranger of LA Gateway District of the Angeles National Forest. The district makes up roughly half of the National Forest and is sometimes referred to as the Gateway or District of the LAGRD, which makes up about 49% of the 700,000 acres of the Angeles National Forest. The LAGRD gets its name from how it is situated relative to the LA Basin. The 5 freeway passes through the western portion of the district, acting as a gateway in and out of LA. Stretching roughly from Gorman to Monrovia, the Los Angeles Gateway Ranger District transects the Antelope, San Fernando, and San Gabriel valleys. The gateway is adjacent to several cities, including Los Angeles, Pasadena, and Santa Clarita. Most important update I can share is the Forest Service is looking to increase the workforce by 20%. I'd like to encourage interested applicants to register at www.usajobs.gov. Most of the jobs are being filled through national hiring efforts. Programs areas include natural resources, botany, hydrology, wildlife biology, archaeology, recreation specialists, and technicians. These are the folks that most people refer to as rangers, human resource engineering and contracting. For more information, visit our website, www.fs.usda.gov/Los Angeles. If you want to respond to contact any of these links, please contact me. And he didn't leave his email, but I have it and I can share it. That's it. That concludes general comment.
Veronica, there was one more public comment by Christine Marcus, who actually helped with the signatures. I think she's on the she's joined. Yeah.
Okay.
If she wants to speak.
Good evening, council members. I think my husband made a very good case for us. I wanted also to speak about the peacocks, but
so is that your husband covered it all? So I guess that was it, right? She's happy with what her husband said.
Okay, sounds like she's happy with it, right?
Yes, very happy. Sure. Yes.
Okay, great. I want to make sure because you're here, it's late, and I want to make sure you want to have a word in because you did a lot of the organizing for the signatures. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Reggie.
Thank you, guys. Okay, thank both of you, and Doug and Reggie will be helping you. That's your council people. Okay, we're going to move on to census tract reports 4612.
So this is Reggie, and this is basically the same topic as the peacock issue that have been raised by Ken, by Christine, and Sharon Collins. They collected like 60 signatures. I've been here since 2000. I don't remember anything like this in the neighborhood before, where folks went on their own volition to just talked about, get signatures for this issue. I've been here, he's been here since 2008, and I've been here since 2000, and it's probably 3, 4, 5 times more peacocks than there used to be. And man, they are loud. They sound like cats getting, very angry cats at all hours of the night. And I'm pretty far south of where they are, and they're really, really loud. Mornings, nights, when they get scared. And I can't imagine if ours had a graveyard shift or something, it'd be impossible to sleep. I mean, they're probably like 100 decibels. They're crazy loud. And so I think Ken mentioned that other areas in LA County, the County of Los Angeles has removed peacocks from multiple areas of LA County in the past. And we hope that the council can urge the county to do this. So it's a serious thing. And there's something else that at Altadena in New York, they're actually running across the street, the peacocks, empty hands, and cars are slamming on their brakes. It's actually becoming a safety issue. So it isn't just allow the dangers or the problems with sleeping and relaxing, but cars are slamming on their brakes and they don't follow crosswalks, as you can imagine, right? And so it's a safety issue right around New York and Altadena. So that's, I think I want to make this perhaps an agenda item for the next meeting to actually craft language to send to the county to ask something to happen, because Ken and his wife have actually communicated with the county, I understand from Doug, and nothing has happened to my understanding. And this is a serious issue. I mean, it's not peacocks, but they're quite loud and people are actually feeding them. I know that's happening. I did some reconnaissance around there and they just come right at you. If you go like this, they come right at you to get fed. So people are feeding them. And so I think we could do something about this, because I'd hate to be living where he's living, because it's crazy loud. So I'd love for the council to
we
take
might
action.
be able to reach out to the arboretum. They
Well,
have peacocks over there. They may know
Yeah.
what to do. Go ahead.
Reggie, it's illegal for them to feed them. So whoever's feeding them needs to stop. And the only way to do that is to call the county and have regional planning come out and cite them for feeding peacocks. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's quite expensive to move them. So I think we just need to, before we send, well, I don't know, for me, I just think we need to have a little bit more info before we do a letter down, so we know what we're asking for exactly.
I believe the fine is $1,000 if you're caught feeding peacocks.
For feeding.
Yeah. So if you report somebody who's feeding them as causing the issue in your neighborhood, they will move on looking for food. But
they're definitely being fed, and I would imagine it's going to take a long time to catch people doing that, because some people like them, because I don't know. I mean, they're beautiful, but they are loud, like you said, and they just destroy gardens.
Well, you can I don't know, Reggie, if it were my census tract, I'd try to do some sort of a communication out to the neighbors, do some sort of a flyer or something, and tell them that number one, it's illegal to feed the peacocks and $1,000 fine, and number two, they're, that feeding keeps them there, and that they're getting to be a nuisance. And anyway, I think there's some things you can do.
And I think that we can probably do this offline. We can.
That's fine.
Yeah, with Diane knows and Reggie and Doug Cauliflower, we can, come up with a solution that's workable offline.
Yeah, because a lot of people are quite concerned. But thank you. That's all I have to add.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Okay.
Thanks, Ken.
Okay, thank you to everybody. Now, can I have a motion for number 9?
No, we have a census tract report for 4602. Nick Arnzen.
Oh boy, I'm just messing up tonight. Okay.
No, this will just be 1 minute. June is National LGBTQ plus Pride Month, and Altadena will be celebrating our LGBTQ plus residents next month on Saturday, June 11th, with the first annual Altadena Pride Walkabout. This is not an Altadena Town Council event. I'm personally organizing and putting it all together as a resident, along with a small army of volunteers. And we will post the details for the event on local social media and start distributing informational flyers in the next few weeks leading up to the event. But just real quick, the walkabout will begin at the Altadena Library at 10 a.m. on Saturday, June 11th, and move through central Altadena with multiple mini events along the way, including a shopping event in Mariposa Junction and along Lake, a pride flag waving along Lake, a spiritual event at St. Mark's Church, and a family lunch in Triangle Park. That's a free lunch. Thank you, Rotary Club. The day will conclude with a festival at the Altadena Senior Center. So this is not a political event, but there will be a number of local and national government officials throughout the day showing their support, including Chair Jones and hopefully other fellow council members. So please join in the celebration at any part of the day and show your support for these vibrant and vital members of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, so we can get rid of some of this hate going on. Yes. Okay. All right. Now can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Marcus.
Thank you, Pasadena Media. Sorry for the run over.
Thank you, Pasadena Media, for sure. All right.